Hi everyone, I'm Futhi Ntshingila, the author of They Got You Too, a book that's coming out next month. I wanted to do a quick video to speak to you about what to expect in this book. Basically, the story dates back to the early 20th century with that South African War, which was at some point called Anglo-Boer War. And my curiosity was directed towards women and in terms of what they were doing around that time and how did they survive the war. But the main character of the book is Hans van Rooyen, a retired police general who finds himself without a gun in his hand, without his ideas of being superior, being in an old age home, scared, having no family around. And basically, faced with his regrets, he comes face to face with his own humanity. And in this place, he meets Zoe Zondi, a night nurse who looks after him. And it's at the beginning of this lockdown of COVID. So they get to bond because they have all the time in the world. And there's no escaping being around people that you lock down with, and it provides that space for him to finally admit to himself the things he did, the secrets he kept, that he thought he would die never having revealed. And Zoe also gets to tell the story of her growing up in the 80s in black townships where children were running away from home, going into exile to fight for their freedom. So it's a story that I think will appeal to everyone because it's a story of grace. It's a story of coming face to face with your humanity and realizing that brainwashing is something that's lethal. To a young mind and how that young mind grows up to become a monster at some point. But it's also a story where they reminisce about the music, about the art. So there will not all be doom and gloom. And now I think I'll just read a few pages for you, and hopefully you get hold of the book and you enjoy it. If I'm being honest, before I ended up here as a heap of troublesome old bones, I will say that my body did give me enough warning that something was amiss. I repeatedly ignored the signs. I was well adjusted to discomfort, and my pa had taught me to toughen up. He hated any display of weakness, and I suppose as much as I had sworn never to become like him, I was turning into him. Isn't that how it works? We wake up one day having turned into exactly what we've been attempting to outrun. I felt it. I had morphed into my father. A slimy feeling washed up from my gut and bent my throat, making me gag. But I digress. My warning was not audible. It was corporeal and started with a tiny, almost imperceptible prodding. I liken it to when you have those jabs of malaria and drank numerous cans of tonic water. You get that slightly narrow feeling, but manageable and even ignorable. A woozy head rush and clammy hands. My ears were constantly ringing, but I ignored it. Next, I would wake up with pins and needles in my feet, and after some movement in a shower, I would be right as rain again. My body ramped up the warning from a murmur to an audible help that I could not ignore, but I had to endure. It was voices and tormenting laughs that had me in a fetal position, frozen with fear. I would grit my teeth and hang on for the signs of dawn to come and save me. I was pathetic, a fully grown man, past andropause and with fully visible man boobs and nuts so droopy that even cold water did not manage to lift them up. Yet here I was afraid of the dark.